The average transaction price of a new vehicle in the US hit a record high in December at $49,507, an increase of 1.9% or $927. Now, that is up month to month, and overall, new car prices are still increasing. And yes, we've seen used car prices drop a little bit, but new car prices are still increasing. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why right now at this moment, especially this quarter of 2023, it may not be the best option to buy a car at the moment. And if you are looking to buy a car, be sure to follow some tips that I'm going to give later in this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe. I talk about the economy as a whole, different facets of it, like the housing market, and in today's video, the car market. So please be sure to subscribe to this channel. Now, the car market. On this channel, I talk about the housing market, and the car market acted or performed very similarly to the housing market. When the pandemic first hit, yes, there were incentives, there were price drops in order for people and businesses to stay afloat, whether they were selling a house or selling cars. But once people got more stimulus checks and when interest rates went down, people went crazy after cars, especially SUVs and trucks. And so prices exploded. And just like in the housing market, how people were paying 10, 20, 30,000 over asking, essentially they were paying over the asking price for a particular property. People were paying over MSRP for a particular car. And this is unheard of because usually most people go to a dealership not expecting to even pay MSRP. But since the pandemic happened, people with the extra income and the lower interest rates, people were paying over MSRP, especially for hot ticket items like SUVs, trucks, specialty cars, convertibles, muscle cars, collectible cars, and things of that nature. And so finally, we have interest rates increasing, which puts affordability down for most people where they can't afford the payments anymore on their particular vehicles. And then on top of that, car prices are elevated. And another reason why car prices are elevated, of course, is because of the supply chain issue. Just like in the housing industry, there is supply issues and labor shortage. And so that increased the price of materials, increased the price of labor. Same thing happened in the car market. And so manufacturers, they had to increase the price of their cars in order to stay with current times, in order to afford materials and things of that nature. And so you already have elevated MSRP prices. And then on top of that, people are bidding, and car dealerships. It's not only people bidding over MSRP, car dealerships are just charging over MSRP because they know of the current climate situation. And so interest rates are up now, right? And right now we still are not seeing that decline in new car prices, but we are seeing it in the used car market. Prices are beginning to decline, but not at the rate where we need it to be in order for it to be affordable. So prices did increase for new cars, but because of higher interest rates, they're sitting longer on the dealership lots. New vehicle inventory levels are increasing from historic lows earlier in 2022, but prices remain elevated. So you do have inventory increasing, which is great because the longer a car sits on the market, the higher fees and costs it is for a dealer. And so in order for a dealer to offset that cost, they either have to discount the price of the car or sell it off in auction. And that's the thing. That's why I want to warn you all on buying cars at the moment. The transaction data from December clearly indicates overall prices show no signs of coming down as we headed into year end. And so this trend is not going away. Yes, even if price drops a little bit, you still have to deal with higher interest rate. But hopefully dealerships start dropping their prices significantly so people can start affording these vehicles, right? And the thing is, we as consumers, we need to get it together and not pay over MSRP. If we see different vehicles marked up, just let the car dealer know, hey, I'm not going to pay over markup. And a lot of times in this current climate, dealerships may work with you, but if they're not, you have to be willing to walk away. And so that's why I don't think right now is the best time, especially this quarter, because I don't think dealerships are there yet. I don't think they truly understand the magnitude of the car market and the potential auto loan crisis that we're in, right? They're still in this mindset that, oh, I'm going to charge whatever for this vehicle. This is a hot in demand vehicle. And so dealerships are not there yet. And even then, prices are still high. Truck sales were particularly strong last month, and with many trucks selling more than $60,000. A new record was all but inevitable. All right, so you all look at this chart to see which automakers increased their price the most. B&W Group increased their year-over-year percentage change over 12%. Ford Motor Company, 11.6%. And then next you have Volkswagen Group, 9.9%. And then you have Nissan, Mitsubishi, that group, 8.9%. Mazda, Honda, Hyundai, Stellantis, Subaru, Tesla a little bit. But if you look at the month-over-month percentage change, and that's where we're starting to see a shift with some automakers making that shift, we see Tesla Motors drop 5.7% in their price change. And this is very interesting for Tesla because Elon Musk recently stated that the auto loan crisis may be one of the biggest financial crises that we will have to face. He tweeted that back in December of last year. And so you have Elon Musk seeing where the auto industry is going, and he's already making that adjustment. And as you saw in the chart, his company was showing the biggest decrease in car prices month over month. But all other manufacturers, they're still not there. And that's what makes Elon Musk great, because he understands the market and economics, and he knows when to shift and when to listen to customers. But all these other automakers are not there yet. And by the way, I actually have a car channel that I just talk about vehicles. If you all are interested, I'll put the link down below. It's called Motor Matt. I mostly talk about trucks, but I do talk about different vehicles, muscle cars, and whatnot. And one of the vehicles that I talk about is the Ford F-150. And as you all saw in the chart, Ford Motor Company probably increased the second most out of any other car manufacturers. They have multiple price increase during the year. And so it's just like these different brands that were used to be known to be affordable, they're more of a luxury brand. Now, another interesting thing about this article was the topic of incentives. And incentives are a very great gauge to understand where the car market is. And so right now, incentives are at all-time lows. And so car manufacturers are not offering as much incentives as they used to. And that's another reason why you should wait into buying a car this year, so you can wait until these car manufacturers go back to normal levels. Incentives increased in December 2022 to 2.7% of the average transaction price, compared to 2.2% in November. In December 2021, that average was around 3.8%. In December 2019, before the pandemic, that incentive was 10.9%. So you do see a slight increase in car manufacturers offering incentives month over month compared to November 2022 and December 2022, but it's still at all-time low. Back before the pandemic in 2019, that was close to 11% compared to the 2.7% that we're experiencing right now. And so because we're slightly seeing an increase in the car manufacturers increasing their incentives, I think later this year, maybe third or fourth quarter of 2023, most likely fourth quarter of 2023, we'll see an increase in them offering more incentives, especially during the holiday time. And so that's another tip, that if you do want to buy a car, probably wait until later this year to buy a vehicle. Another tip I want to give potential car buyers is to just be realistic about the car climate. You're not going to get a super low price for a particular make or model for a vehicle, so you have to make sure you look at all the options out there in order to make the best decision. In this report, it says that 1 in 4 shoppers expect to spend less than $20,000 on a new car, but the median price of new cars is more than double that. You all see the discrepancy with that? You have to be realistic. You have to understand that the average car price is over $45,000. You're not going to go up to a dealership and pay $20,000 for a particular nice, luxurious, or even decently used to be affordable car now these days. It's wild out there now. The good thing about this article is that it did offer some alternatives, some price points that most consumers can afford. So for example, if you look at this cars.com affordability report, it says, so let's say you're looking for a small car, the medium category price is around $25,000, close to $26,000. So your best value is probably a 2023 Kia Rio S with technology package. That median price is $20,240. And if you're looking for a small pickup truck, the medium category category price is $43,000. It's crazy to think that small pickup trucks are now in the $40,000 range. It's so crazy. A best value is a Ford Maverick XL with Copilot 360 package. Now, Mavericks are super high in demand, and so most manufacturers or dealerships are charging over MSRP, so it will be difficult to find one around $26,000, $27,000. But the XL is the lowest trim, so you may find one just at $30,000 or a little bit lower. So if you're looking for something like that, you can go that route. Now, I do want to show you all a few more stats and facts about the car market before I tell you all a few more tips and suggestions in buying a car. So according to Cox Automotive, they expect used vehicles sold at its U.S. wholesale auctions to end the year down 4.3% from December 2022. And that follows a 14.9% fall last year from inflated prices. And so essentially this automotive group, just looking at their auction house, which is nationwide, a huge business that collects a lot of data and car price information, they saw that on their books in 2022, cars prices, specifically used car prices, dropped almost 15% last year from elevated prices, and they expect it to fall another 4.3%, so close to 20% overall within 2 years. Now, even if used car prices drop 4.3%, it still won't get us to the point of affordability for most people because we have higher interest rates. So yes, car prices did decrease, or most likely will decrease overall by 20% by the end of this year, but compare that to the increase, it's not really that much, and it still makes it unaffordable for most people. This article states that, however, they are still not enough to offset the 88% rise in index pricing from April 2020 to January 2022. And if you look at this chart for used car and trucks in the US city average, you see that we peaked around January 2022 at 213. That's just the index price. And right now we're at 191. In order for us to go back to normal levels, we have to go back to the range of maybe between 137 and 150 in order to be at normal range, but right now we're at 191, and so we have to go much lower. And look at the index for new car prices. It's just steadily increasing. So if I change this chart to 5 years, you see the increase in new car prices is just increasing. It hasn't gone low, hasn't dipped at all month over month. It's always been increasing, and so hopefully we'll see decreases in new car prices pretty soon. And so just some more tips. Just make sure you fit whatever you need to do in your budget. I still recommend the best policy for cars is buying it cash. Yes, I'm one of those people that believe in buying vehicles for cash, but I'm not opposed to people looking at their budget, putting a decent down payment, not a super long term, and buying a vehicle that's dependable, that fits within their budget, and financing a portion of that vehicle. But just make sure it fits within your budget and you're not doing super long terms and you have a decent interest rate. The other thing is that right now, some dealerships do know that the car market is shifting. So make sure you do not pay over MSRP. In a lot of cases, actually pay lower than MSRP. Talk with your dealership, right? And don't pay extra for add-ons like an extended warranty for a brand new car. You don't need gap insurance. You don't need their tire and wheel protection, a warranty or service or anything like that, or different add-on. Try to negotiate your dock fee also, and just make sure you run all your numbers, and you can get a vehicle if you negotiate the right way. If you search a broader area, you can find a vehicle that fits within your budget. But of course, if you really want the best price for your vehicle, you should most likely wait till the end of this year. All right, you all, hope you all enjoyed this video about the auto market, the car market. Make sure you all like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll talk to you all later.